Hello, Steve Thomas. We're going to be talking today about real-world impact and advancing the NaaS ecosystem with some partners here of AWS and Wipro, so guys, come on out. So we have Robin and Manoj who's going to join me, and then we'll get into some questions. So first question, introduce yourselves. Go ahead, Robin.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for having me. Robin Hirwani. I lead the go-to-market industry solutions teams within the AWS Telecommunications IBU. I've been an early member of the telecom business at AWS, and looking forward to a good conversation today with both of you. Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. My name is Manoj Krishnan. I'm a part of Wipro's Communication, Media, and Networks business unit. I manage a portfolio of communication accounts.
Sure. So we're focused on the enterprise today. So the digital success of enterprise customers, you know, and how NaaS helps, and what's the system integrator role in that kind of play there.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Manoj.
So you know, from our perspective, legacy networks were built for an era of predictable demands. Right. Today's modern enterprise require networks that can adapt to changing business requirements. They need networks that are scalable. At the same time, they help drive innovation. If you look at most of the technology trends that we see today, including AI, generative AI, et cetera, require scalable, low latency networks. At the same time, as the internet is becoming the choice of WAN for customers, data and traffic is moving outside the traditional enterprise perimeter. Right? Every day, customers are adding new devices, new networks, new applications, new APIs to the environment. So the network attack surface is expanding. At the same time, hackers are using sophisticated tools. They're using AI to exploit vulnerabilities in the customer's environment. Now, to address all of these issues, the customers require a very complex network and security infrastructure. And that requires dedicated resources, continuous investments, specialized skills that takes away the focus of these enterprises from their core business, which is where we feel that NaaS can really step in to help these customers with scalability and flexibility. They can help them with better security. They can help them integrate AI into their business. They can help them with a multi-cloud or a hybrid or an on-prem solution, depending on what they want. And they have the flexibility to decide how to do this. Now at Wipro, we help customers with our consulting expertise, with our service design, and our platform-led managed services that helps them with this network transformation. So we help design for the customers a highly intuitive customer portal that provides them with advanced telemetry and observability. We use AI ops and event correlation to drive predictive operations, and we provide enhanced security. So that's the role that we see playing in the NaaS environment. And Robin, happy to hear.
No, absolutely, absolutely. If we step back and look at how NaaS over the last 10 years has worked out, every imaginable enterprise working with AWS, as we work on their requirements, they started by connecting their data center infrastructure mostly over MPLS, IPVPN networks. Then came the cloud, where they started integrating from their data centers over MPLS through a common cross-connect location to the cloud platforms. That's basically how an enterprise would come and start integrating into our infrastructure. You could request a 1 gig port, multiple of 1 gigs, 10 gigs, 100 gigs ports. The complexity went on from there in 2019. If we think about all the SD-WAN solutions, our partners like Versa, Viptela, that all of them have gone through stages of acquisitions and evolutions. Palo Alto, Fortinet, others came in and started offering SD-WAN solutions on top of these networks. And then came the ability to have transitive routing across our customer base and across multiple regions, AWS infrastructure continents, to be able to provide those capabilities. In 2021, 22, if you think about what evolved from SD-WAN into a broad-based cloud WAN solution, right? Cloud WAN became the way of the world for running large-scale enterprise networks, high level of complexity, multiple endpoints. And that is where ability to integrate networks across complex set of infrastructures, complex data center infrastructure, cloud infrastructure, along with multiple branch locations for example, in financial services, customers like banks that have these capabilities that they need, has now evolved into an AI native NaaS, right? What we call the AI native NaaS infrastructure. The ability to interact with the network as a service platform and then provide iterations, whether it is the state of the network, change of the network, or evolution of the security posture of the network. That's how we see this space evolving. And that's where, our partnership with Wipro and our system integration ecosystem becomes important to provide that managed capability that Manoj brought up.
Very good. So let's play off that a little bit. What the ecosystem within the NaaS community is quite large. We're here at Mplify. There's a lot of carriers, integrators, OSS, BSS teams, et cetera. Can you talk to us a little bit about the partnerships and then also how Mplify specifically assists in that manner?
Sure. Thanks for that. So, going back to what I said earlier, customers are looking at NaaS for a variety of reasons. They want better security, they want scalability and flexibility, they want to integrate AI, interoperability, and so on and so forth. Now, it's very important for an ecosystem of partners to come together to deliver this value for the customer, because no individual organization can deliver all these benefits independently, which is the reason we believe that the ecosystem is very, very important. So if you look at the way we work with communication service providers, we use them to provide us with network access into the transport layer. We work with our cloud partners like AWS to help us host the cloud-based network platform that we build, as well as the AI infrastructure that they provide us. We work with our SaaS providers to provide us with tools that can help us integrate observability. We work with network equipment providers to help us with security and additional intelligence. And we as system integrators stitch all these solutions together. Now, we chose AWS as our partner to host our Telco AI 360 platform on their cloud infrastructure, because they help us with multi-tenancy, they help us with network isolation and encryption, they help us to design the architecture for the future, as well as high availability. And these are very critical for our success to be able to deliver services to our customers. So very strategic partner for us in our partnership. Now, the role that we see Mplify playing is to enable this ecosystem to come together and enable the interoperability, right? And that's very, very critical, especially when we do the API integrations. The other unique advantage we see with Mplify is that they provide an independent third-party validation to the customer that, hey, you're choosing the right partner, you're choosing the right solutions through our certification process. So these two are the benefits I see with Mplify, and I'm sure, Robin, you can add.
No, absolutely. I think you covered it, Manoj. The biggest set of value that we can see here in terms of providing customers a fully integrated, natively built, using the technology that we are launching by the day. Generative AI is a very new space. 36 months ago, majority of these platforms were in incubation phase. We are now reaching the production phase for so many of our customers. It is so important to have the right model, for the right use case, have the right kind of use case design, have the right agents and the guardrails in place, all of which requires a well-thought strategy in terms of implementation. And that's where this work that we have been working together on plays an important role. The other thing I would call out is security is job zero, but I think there is a lot happening in that space as well, where the posture of the organization and ability to use generative AI for a positive impact there is critical. For example, there is, give or take, around 3 million network administrators globally, right? If we can create 15% productivity improvement for them, we can improve the posture of security using generative AI. We can improve the posture of security for enterprises by quantum leap, right? And that's really the kind of things that I think about a lot, and our teams have been thinking about, where ability to build and accelerate these implementations with macros that AWS brings, whether it is things like Guard Duty that allows for security incident and event management, Amazon Macie, which is a service for data security integrated with our platform called Bedrock, which is for generative AI, all stitched together, like Manoj said, by the Wipro team. All of that is how we believe that we can help improve the productivity within this space.
Sure, let's get to the theme here, real world impact, okay? How are you guys, and automation is obviously key to NaaS. I always say it's one of the A's in automation. I think AI now is the other A in NaaS. So talk to us how you're using AI to help, and some examples around customer service and network operations seem to be common themes. So maybe give us some of your perspectives. Go ahead, Manoj.
Yeah. So AI is the buzzword, right? Everybody's talking about it. It's the boardroom conversations. I think for us, it's fundamentally very important that you have real-world use cases that you can apply to that solve problems for this to be really relevant for our customers. Which is why at Wipro, we are focusing on AI when it comes to our managed network services on 3 strategic areas. The first area is to improve user experience. So we use AI to build a highly intuitive customer self-service portal that is transforming the way the customer is interacting with their network. So our platform uses real-time data as well as historical data to analyze and provide the customer with deep insights as well as dashboards about their network environment. We also use AI-based chatbots that the customer is empowered to kind of resolve or perform routine tasks autonomously without needing a network administrator to step in and help. Our platform also independently provides the customer with a very detailed topology of his environment to understand how the different elements in his environment talk to each other. And then we use event correlation to do predictive analysis. For example, this is a real world example, that our platform predicts to the customer that on a 9 a.m. on a Friday in a store which is some remote part of the country is most likely to see a very high network utilization. And we have data that shows within a 1 hour window of that predictability, the event actually occurred, which gives the customer a higher level of confidence, and hence they can take more proactive actions. We also use AI for accent neutralization. So we have a global team, people working in different parts of the world, and they're communicating with the customer. And this accent neutralization helps us break those communication barriers real time when speaking with the customer, right? And we have seen a remarkable improvement in our customer satisfaction scores after we implemented that. So that's one area we're using AI to improve the customer experience. The second area is inward facing, but it is to help higher network availability. So we use AI to kind of do analysis of historical cases, analyze SOPs, KB articles, to provide step-by-step instructions to our network administrators on resolving complex issues. And we also use the same technology to do root cause analysis and do automation for repetitive tasks so that the human intelligence can be used for more complex and strategic issues, right? And that's the whole intent. So this helps us improve the network availability as well as the mean time to resolve. The third area that we use AI for, and which is very important going back to what we were talking earlier, is to enable interoperability and to enable the ecosystem collaboration. And the reason I say that is because we use automation and integration to integrate and consolidate the feeds from various partner tools and systems in the customer's environment to give the customer a single pane of glass and a unified experience. Because at the end of the day, we want the customer to come to one-stop shop and not get moved from desk to desk to kind of resolve the problem, right? We also use collaboration so that the AI agents that we develop can speak to the AI agent that our partners develop through A2A protocol or through MCP. And the last is just as we are developing AI capabilities, our partners are developing it too. So how do we integrate that with our platform so the customer can get better orchestration of the end-to-end skill sets? So those are things that we are doing on the AI space specifically for this area. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, within the AI space, we have a lot of effort going on, and I will focus on 2 or 3 areas, right? But before I do that, why is it important, right? As these networks have evolved, like I was saying, they have been mostly IP networks, but with the advent of 5G, and these networks are integrated across access protocols, we have fixed mobility and data centers integrating into the cloud through edge compute that we have launched over the years. And that brings another vector of complexity. And when it comes to AI, we want to really make it simple for our customers to build the use cases they want, integrate them into the network as a service platform as they need to, across the widest choice of foundational models available, including like the 9 that we have right now available on AWS, along with many other models that we can integrate using the bring your own model capability. So that's the having the models in customers, bag of kitty to start developing. On top of that, we have capability both from a developer productivity perspective. We have launched a developer productivity platform called Kiro, which integrates into this platform. And then we have the capability where if one needs to, they can create a complete digital twin of the network that they are managing across data centers, across cloud, across the branch locations, edge locations, agnostic of the access, which creates the first tangible step for somebody to adopt artificial intelligence in a meaningful way for NaaS. So imagine you can interact with this network and ask questions. What is the posture, security posture of my branch locations in Dallas-Fort Worth area? Having the ability to ask questions like, where do you see the need for most capacity to be deployed on my network? Where can I have additional flexibility in terms of performance and resilience that I can do engineering around? That is where we see the first step being the digital twin of the network. Here, the capability that we have from a graph neural networks perspective is super critical, and we have worked in over the last couple of years and deployed it with large partners as well. The second piece, which is super important, is now that you have the ability to interact with this network, integrating it into the developer ecosystem, where I mentioned capabilities of our developer productivity from Kiro, and that become important. And then the third, which is another important aspect of it, is the ability to build and deploy agents. Now, how do you do that? We have a capability called Quick Suite, which we have launched recently after New York Summit, that allows for our partners to bring together agents that they can create and launch using something called Strand agents, and then integrate into the infrastructure very quickly. So that is kind of step by step how you get the artificial intelligence world and the NaaS world to kind of converge and create the infrastructure that can be used for the use cases. And there's dozens of use cases that our customers and our partners are building, like Manoj mentioned. What makes it super critical is to remember these steps, right? The data layer that helps you create the graph neural network, the ability to interact with the network with simple natural language input, going into the building the agents and integrating it with the most important fabric of the enterprise, which is the developers that create value for the enterprise. So that's kind of how I see the use cases spanning out.
Sure, we just have a couple of minutes left, but in terms of that double digital twins and making use of the agent, a lot of network engineers are hand-on keyboard. So talk to us a little bit about, maybe the change that you have to go through in working with teams to convince them to work in more of a natural language manner.
Yeah, I think the key message is that AI is here to make their life easier and not to replace what they're doing, so that they can focus on doing what is more important and strategic. And how do they, you can provide them with a wealth of information, but how do you use that to drive the right outcomes? And that's the important behavior that we're trying to drive.
Sure.
Absolutely, I think Manoj, you covered it. The biggest value here for everybody, all of us included, is the ability to adopt this technology to drive productivity gains, but also drive completely new set of innovations that we were not able to do before. And that's the opportunity in front of us. That's the conversation I've had with pretty much every customer that is super excited about taking these tools, building them out with the partners we have, both from a WAN evolution perspective as well as the application ecosystem evolution perspective. I think that's the message I would leave. This is more of an opportunity than a disruption. Yeah.
Very good. That ends our session today, but thanks guys for
Thank you.
coming out here and telling us a little bit about Wipro and AWS. Aaron? Thank you.
conversation. Thank you. Thank you.
Guys.